What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the OG family. Make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe to my channel only if you want to. But look, my beautiful people, we got this top 10 worst states to live in the United States in 2021. Not 2020, but we talking about 2021. You know, a lot of things changed since 2020, and woo! Hey, look, man, let me know down below. Don't cheat either. Let me know in the comments down below what's going to be the #1 worst state, and don't cheat, bro. It ain't no fun if you cheat. You feel me? So let's get into this video. Let's get this video right here to 5,000 likes. Let's hop straight into this video without further ado. Let's go.
2020 is finally over. Yes, folks, it's officially 2021, and with a new year comes a new list of the worst states to live in. Now, if your New Year's resolution is to be more grateful, you should be real grateful if you don't live in any of the places on this list. And if you do, well, maybe your resolution could be to move to a new state. I'll even tell you what, let's hit 5,000 likes and I'll make a video on the top 10 best states for 2021. But today we're talking about the worst states, which of course include a few of the usual suspects, but also quite a few newcomers as well, since the pandemic has...
Look, quite the usual suspects. I know that I ain't even gonna say no names. Just let me know in the comments down below. I don't want nobody to get mad at me, bro. You know how y'all sensitive as hell. You feel me? Y'all be sensitive now. Super sensitive nowadays. It's crazy, man.
Really lowered the quality of life in many places. So besides the usual statistics we use to rank these states, including their economy, safety, education, cost of living, and overall quality of life, this year we're also factoring in how good each state's job security and unemployment benefits are, and whether or not they handle the pandemic poorly. But enough with my spiel. These are the top 10 worst states to live in for 2021. Dang, I can't believe I just said that. It's actually 2021. Number 10, Illinois. Pretty much all of you Illinoisans got really annoyed when your state didn't make my worst states for 2020 list. Well, okay, weirdos, you got your wish this year. But it wasn't just our comments section. Gallup actually conducted a poll where over 25% of Illinois residents claimed their state to be the worst, which was far more than any other state on the list. The stats, however, just...
I don't see why that's not a lot higher, man. Like, that's like the death capital of, like, the world. You feel me?
Don't back that up. So why do so many
residents
hate living here? Well, outside of the Chicago area, the rest of the state is just boring. It's flat and pretty much only consists of uninteresting small towns and farms. And in Chicago, well, actually in the whole state really, you have to deal with some of the highest taxes in the nation, including the second highest effective property tax rate at 1.95%. And despite all of those taxes, the infrastructure still sucks, since Illinois also has the second most corrupt state government. 5 of the last 8 Illinois governors have actually been arrested for corruption charges. And while Chicago's normally the only fun place here, because of the pandemic, you can't even fully experience it due to all the regulations in place. So currently in January, it's just dark, cold, and there's nothing to do. Well, unless you count math. In which case, there's a ton of laps downstate. Number 9.
What? Yo, look, watching that the whole time, why is that not #1? You're not telling me that it's too many other states that's worse than that. Come on, man. I thought that was going to be #1. Stop playing.
Alaska. While Illinois has the highest percentage of
that was my choice, y'all.
Their state's the worst, Alaska has the highest percentage of residents who think their state's the best. Now, they're both wrong, of course, but at least Alaska's got beautiful scenery. The main reason it isn't a great place to live, however, is that it's the second most dangerous state. The crime rate is 52% above the national average, and the crime rate is the highest in the nation at 129% above the national average.
Wow.
Besides for the more rural parts being pretty much lawless, the high crime might also have something to do with Alaska having the 4th worst public schools. Although that might also have to do with the fact that there's no state income or sales tax, so it really depends on your priorities. In fact, the state actually pays you to live here with a few $1,000 check every year as an oil dividend. But if you think that means you'll save money, you couldn't be more wrong. Most of Alaska lies north of the 60th parallel, which means the entire state gets brutally cold. Now that can range anywhere from the single digits Fahrenheit in Anchorage to -50 in Fairbanks, but regardless of where you live, your heating bills will be through the roof. And just about everything else.
That don't sound like no place. Look, man, for black people to live, we tropical people, we need that. We need that tropical weather, man. We can't make it out there. That ain't for us, G. If you out there, you deserve to get what you're gonna get.
Is super expensive too, since most things need to be imported. Alaska actually has the second most expensive utility and grocery costs, and state number 3 isn't even close. Number 8, Nevada. Year after year, Nevada is either the fastest or second fastest growing state. And there's a few reasons for that. Housing's a lot cheaper than the neighboring state of California, and the weather's still great with tons to do in the Las Vegas metropolitan area, which is where nearly 75% of all Nevadans reside. But since so many Californians have been moving here, that more affordable cost of housing has started to become not so affordable, with the median home value skyrocketing to $327,000 and projected to increase by another 12% over the next year. This wouldn't be terrible if the state actually offered good jobs, but most of the jobs are tourism or service related, so they don't exactly pay the best. Not to mention, the pandemic probably hurt Nevada more than any other state due to its economy relying so much on tourism and the casinos. The lack of people.
For all my people out there that's in Nevada, like, let us know, like, how is it out there? You feel me? Like, he's speculating off of numbers and stuff, but is it really like that? I'm pretty sure that it's like that. And what are y'all plans? Are y'all moving? Y'all trying to figure out something else? This pandemic has messed up everything. You feel me? So I wish y'all the best.
People traveling and forced shutdowns over the past year have led to the highest unemployment rate in the country at 10.2%. And many salaries have also been cut since businesses aren't making as much money. Now, most things have since reopened, but Nevada also has one of the highest COVID positive test rates at nearly 15%. So the people who are fortunate enough to still have jobs are also the most at risk. And besides that fear,
absolutely not. I'm moving. I don't even want this job. You feel me? Like, I don't want this COVID from these people. Like, that's crazy. Like, stay in the house. Stop partying. Stop being stupid, you crackheads.
You also have to worry about the homeless, drunk people, and drug-related issues because Nevada has the 5th highest violent crime rate at 45% above the national average.
Stupid.
Number 7, Kentucky. Besides bourbon, Colonel Sanders, and maybe the Derby, most people
I'm about to say that's where they fried chicken at, right?
Not from Kentucky probably don't know much about the state. But while its awful quality of life wasn't quite bad enough to make the top 10 last year, the suckery going on here can no longer be ignored. Kentucky has the 3rd lowest life expectancy at just 75.4 years and has 6 of the top 20 counties with the lowest life expectancies in the country, 2 of which don't even see the average resident living to be 70. Maybe that's due to the lack of healthy food and 5th highest obesity rate at 35%, or maybe it's because the healthcare system here just sucks, or maybe all those things are related. But hey, at least the public schools aren't terrible. Although Kentucky also has the 4th highest teen pregnancy rate and 6th lowest high school graduation rate at just 85.7%. So education doesn't seem to be a top priority. And because of this, there just aren't many good jobs. The median household income of $52,000.
Besides people dying and stuff, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why this ain't number 1? You feel me? I can't live to be like over 70 something. Hey, don't move there, y'all. If you there, y'all need to go ahead and leave, man. Like, I need to see y'all in the comments down below. Pack your bags right now and just go.
$1,200 is the 7th lowest in the nation and a full $13,500 lower than the national average. Now, sure, the cost of living is also pretty cheap, with a median home value of just $157,000.
Yeah, because don't nobody want to live there. That's why the cost of living is so low.
But it obviously isn't cheap enough, considering that 17.2% of the population still lives below the poverty line. Number 6, New Mexico. The land of enchantment loses its magic real fast once you live here. This beautiful state might be breathtaking to visit, but it's also riddled with the worst crime in the country, with an overall crime rate 59% above the national average and a violent crime rate 120% above the national average.
Oh, hell
Not to
no.
mention, the state also
Absolutely not. Don't nobody move there. We're gonna continue though.
suffers from the second highest poverty rate at 19.6%. It's kind of ironic that the first ever atomic bomb was dropped here, since the destruction of the state and its quality of life has only escalated ever since. From having by far the worst public schools in the nation and 5th lowest high school graduation rate to there just not being many good jobs that aren't employed by the federal government, it makes sense that New Mexico has the
It's the worst because they got Lil Juan in there in them schools and stuff. Like Lil Juan out here selling bricks. Like, it's all about the drugs and criminal activity but you know what? You can kind of get it sometimes because a lot of places aren't fortunate enough to have the resources that other countries have, and that's sometimes what they got to do. So, I ain't really knocking it though. I ain't
the
gonna lie to you. You
6th
gotta do what
lowest
you gotta
median
do.
household income at just $51,900. Combine that with a median home value of nearly $225,000, which isn't nearly as cheap as the other states that suck this bad, and it isn't hard to see that most people are struggling and why so many have resorted to crime. Number 5, Arkansas. Oh boy, we made it to the
Hey, look, when that little part, like number 5, everybody be holding their breath like, oh shit, it's gonna be my goddamn city right next. It ain't you unless you. People live in Arkansas. I didn't even know people lived there.
top 5, aka the part of the list that almost always features a number of deep south states that suck every year. And while Arkansas might be the least bad of the bunch, the only thing the natural state is a natural at is stinking. No, like literally a lot of the state smells like chicken and cow poo. Now if you're not from here, you probably don't know much about the place. And let me save you the visit, because outside of maybe the Ozarks, which are more beautiful in Missouri in my opinion, there's nothing worth visiting and definitely no reason to live here.
Only thing I know about the Ozarks is the TV show that came on Netflix. The Ozarks was pretty lit, you feel me? But Arkansas, it ain't even Arkansas, it's Arkansas with an S at the end. Stop playing.
But then again, does anyone ever really think of moving to Arkansas? Well, actually, yeah. It's grown by around 0.36% each year. I don't know why, but it has. Despite having the 3rd worst infrastructure, 2nd worst healthcare system, 5th lowest life expectancy, 3rd highest obesity rate, 3rd highest infant mortality rate, and the highest teen pregnancy rate in the nation. Maybe Arkansans just don't know how bad their
That's why it is. It's a bunch of men down there smashing these young ladies.
state is, since it's also the 4th least educated state. That's probably why it's still called the land of opportunity, even though there's practically no opportunity. The median household income of $48,900 is the 3rd lowest in the country.
What?
And the poverty rate of 16.8% is the 7th highest. Add in the 4th highest violent crime rate that's 54% above the
Hey, boy, I would move there just to be a king. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, man. You feel me?
national average,
If
and
you're
it's
making money,
no
move
wonder
there.
the residents are next to last when it comes to happiness. Number 4, Alabama. Well,
Oh,
would you
shit.
look at that? 2020's worst state to live in isn't even in the top 3 this year. But that's more a product of the next few states just sucking more than Alabama actually improving. So it should come as no surprise that the Cotton State is still one of the poorest in the country, with the 3rd worst public schools, 5th highest crime rate, 6th highest obesity rate, and is tied with Kentucky for the 3rd lowest life expectancy. The economy
Wow.
also sucks, with the nation.
I mean, especially if you're a black man, like you not really gonna last out there. You feel me? It's gonna be over for you. Somebody gonna shoot you. You ain't gonna have no beef.
5th lowest median household income at just $51,700. And if you lose your job here due to the pandemic, your maximum weekly unemployment payment is just $275. No wonder nearly 17% of residents live below the poverty line. There's also no moratorium on evictions or utilities being shut off, no mandated paid sick or family leave, and no requirements for personal protective equipment for workers. Basically,
wow.
Alabama would like to let all of its residents know that it doesn't give a crap about them. And if that didn't send the message, maybe the 13.3% positive COVID test rate combined with the 5th worst healthcare system will.
Hey, they ignorant out there. Look, ignorant, not ignorant. They ignorant. You feel me? They gotta go. You feel me? Like, obviously, they do not care for you out there. Leave. Go somewhere else. Let that city go to... Let it... Man, come on, man. Let that state go to shit. Because obviously, the stuff they just said right here, based on this video, leave.
Number 3, West Virginia.
Ooh,
I honestly
I didn't know it was
feel
gonna be on
really
there.
bad for West Virginians. Most of them are good, decent, hardworking people, but they just can't seem to catch a break. Every year, the quality of life in the Mountain State continues to suffer. And while there finally seems to be a small rebound to the economy with the GDP and median incomes going up, West Virginia still has the second worst economy with the second lowest median household income at just $48,800.
Oh, wow.
And the poverty rate of 17.74% is the 4th highest. This
That's crazy.
small economic recovery is also most likely short-lived since the coal and energy industries that the state heavily relies on won't last forever. Speaking of which, it is so devastating to see the once beautiful mountain peaks now stripped of their glory due to mountaintop removal mining. And the forests and rivers that wind through them give off an eerie hollowness, especially near the many abandoned ghost towns. Add in the worst infrastructure of any state, and it isn't hard to see why West Virginians are the most unhappy residents with a depression rate of 25.6%.
Oh,
This,
damn.
combined with the second highest obesity rate of 39.7%,
They ain't have to show her running like that, though. Like, look, man, we know that you're talking about obesity. All right, man.
has resulted in the lowest U.S. life expectancy at just 74.8 years. But despite having the second worst education and 4th worst healthcare system, the people of West Virginia remain resilient and united. They haven't resorted to crime despite their struggles, and the crime rate is actually 23% below the national average.
So why is that up there?
Louisiana.
Should've been number 10.
Louisiana just barely clung onto its number 2 spot from last year's list because the state still sucks and it's actually gotten a lot worse. Fortunately for Louisiana, however, our number 1 state got even more worse. Now every year the Pelican State is ranked as the most corrupt state in the nation, but in 2020 it wasn't even close. The next closest state, Illinois, had over 40% less government officials arrested for corruption charges. Maybe all that political corruption explains why Louisiana has the 6th worst healthcare, the 2nd worst public schools, 3rd worst economy and infrastructure, the most corrupt prison system, and ranks dead last in terms of economic opportunity. Even all the glitz and glam of New Orleans can't gloss over the crime and corruption of the state, with an overall crime rate nearly 50% above the national average. But since the government seems to care more about tourist dollars than the actual residents, the people are struggling. Especially now with the pandemic causing the loss of so many tourism jobs. The unemployment rate is actually the 4th highest in the nation at 8.3%, and if you lost your job due to...
Hey, you can kind of get that, though. Like, I kind of knew that was going to be one of those points for Louisiana, because, yeah, that's a big tourist state. Like, come on, man, you got to understand that, man. Everything built around that is for tourism. And once the COVID shit hit, bro, like, most of those people are losing their way of income. So how are they surviving now?
To COVID, your weekly unemployment insurance could be as low as $10. Who the heck can live on $40 a month? And those who are lucky enough to still be employed still aren't very lucky, considering the median household income is just $51,000, and Louisiana has the 3rd highest poverty rate at 18.91%. Now, before we get to number 1, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and let me know what video you want to see next. And I also wanted to give a quick honorable mention to California, which, yes, sucks in a ton of categories, including having the highest high school dropout rate, the highest pollution levels, an insanely expensive cost of living, corrupt and overreaching local and state governments, high taxes, and terrible traffic. But despite its problems, it's impossible to deny the nearly perfect weather, beautiful nature, and amazing economy. If it weren't for all the incredible job opportunities across so many different industries and a median household income of nearly $81,000, California might have been on this list. But as much as people hate it, we still have to give props where it's due. And without further ado, number 1, Mississippi.
Ooh.
Yep. Thank God for Mississippi is officially...
I did not know Mississippi was going to be number 1. Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought? Y'all didn't think that in the comments. Don't say y'all did, man. Y'all didn't know that.
Back and worse than ever. Now, the
I ain't know
Magnolia
that.
State was actually making improvements over the past few years, but that all changed in 2020. Home to the absolute worst economy in the nation, with the lowest median household income of just $45,700, the highest poverty rate at 20.1%, the highest obesity rate at 40.8%, and the second
Alright, so look, what I'm trying to understand is, alright, so it got the highest obesity too as well, but then it got the highest you know what I'm saying, poverty rating. Alright, but look, if all these people ain't making enough money, they can't live, how the hell are they fat like that? How the hell are they like obese like that? Like, I'm trying to make this make sense for me. Make this make sense for me. Let me know in the comments down below what y'all think about this shit, because it don't make no sense.
lowest life expectancy at just
Think they all be skinny.
7.9 years, Mississippi ranks either dead last or very close in every category that matters. Heck, it doesn't even have a minimum wage other than the federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour. And people who lost their job due to the pandemic aren't even making that. The maximum weekly unemployment benefit is just $235, which means the most you could get for a month is just $940. How the heck is anyone supposed to feed their family, pay rent, and cover utilities on that? Maybe Mississippi just can't do math, since it's also by far the least educated state. Either way, Mississippi probably took a bigger nosedive over the past year than even the year 2020 did, and thus is the worst state to live in for two.
Damn, that's crazy, man. Mississippi. I had no clue, man. I definitely had no clue. It's probably like 0.00002% of y'all like that knew that that was gonna be the number one. I thought Chicago, Illinois was gonna be on that joint. You feel me? You know, I had to say the whole title, but yeah, I thought that was gonna be on there because I had to say Chicago, so y'all know like the particular spot that's gonna make everything like be that way. But yeah, I thought New York. You know what I'm saying? Big states like that, I thought they were going to make too much money to really list them as being like one of the worst. But the crime could be putting them in that certain category. But I'm surprised I didn't see other places on here. Y'all let me know what was supposed to be on this list and which videos y'all want to see next. And I'll see y'all in the next video. And like I always say, spread love because there's too much hate in this world. Love you guys. See you in the next video. And I'm out though. Loud.